listening to Final Frontier News.
Yeah, I mean, with NASA, they're using their infrared telescope. That's pretty crazy.
It's a big story about NASA and water on the moon. But dude,
I'll
what
give
if
you a better, further example.
how much water do you think is on the moon? Like how much water? Did you read the thing? I didn't read all of it.
I apparently not much.
Right.
That's the thing. They first thought that it was like a hydroxyl molecule, and that's one atom short of actually being water. So instead of H2O, it's just OH. But now that was back about 2009.
Right.
Now with their Sophia telescope that they're using, basically it's the Stratospheric Observatory for Infrared Astronomy.
Damn.
And it's on a Boeing 747. The fuselage opens in the back end, and a huge infrared telescope, that Sophia thing, comes out and is able to fly at 43,000 feet. And the reason they do that is because if you have a telescope on the ground, the water vapor that's on Earth muddies the infrared signals, so it can't be seen. So they fly this Boeing 747 at such an altitude that it's over where most of the water vapor will interfere with the infrared signals.
Yeah.
And they've been getting these incredibly impeccable images and data back. So I mean, it's pretty incredible what they've been able to pull out so far. They said that the water itself revolves around and stretches around certain parts of the molecules, and it's pretty much not like puddles of water. It's not like you would think, but there's water hidden. It basically water's hidden in the crevices in certain spots of the moon.
It would take, you could like mine the water. It would take you like a week to mine the water, and then it would only feed or whatever, like one person per like mile.
You drink, here it's stained water that comes out of the tap. But the thing is, like you said, the quote here is that the abundance is extremely low, and in order to process just a few, to get 1 kilogram of water, it would take a few thousand kilograms of the actual moon surface.
Oh my god!
Just to get 1 kilogram of water. So
yeah,
it's
not
insane. Yeah, but they did say that there is water there, and they're trying to solve a new puzzle. How is the water maintained on the surface of the moon? They say solar wind obviously plays a part with cosmic rays, because the rays themselves from the sun provide hydrogen.
Yeah, to me, I would almost bet that just even being near Earth, I would think that there would be water vapor and things and little tiny things out there just passing by of comets and whatever the hell. That stuff is going to collect, you would think, and it's not. I don't know. Like I would think that there could be water on anything like that. It's exactly the amount you would think, like almost negligible, like almost nothing, but it's some there.
The problem is that they're not sure about the dark side of the moon or the darker sides, because any water deposited there, whether it's from comets, asteroids,
probably ice.
It's negative 300 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, so it's probably ice or little
it turns ice that never sees the sun again.
Ice droplets or little pockets. I'm sure it's there.
They call some of those areas micro cold traps. So it's.
It would take a massive machine to like dig up the earth of the moon or the moon surface to like funnel it and then filter water to make anybody survive. So it's really just about like, how does this work for life on the moon, or how could this work for whatever on the moon? And it's just not enough of anything. It's nothing, almost nothing can come of this, but it looks like, numbers wise and scientifically, and it's drier than what the Sahara Desert, they say, or whatever it says on here, but it's so super dry that it's
actually it may not be as dry as the desert compared to what they used to think. Initially they were saying that they viewed the moon as just, as you said, a desert, and that's it. But now they're actually seeing more evidence that it might be damper and more wet than we actually predicted.
That makes sense to me. It's just, the real thing is oxygen. There's no oxygen. And if there was,
Well, here's the thing: water on the surface of the moon can be used for many, many things, but sustaining life. Obviously, they can. So, one of the main benefits of this discovery is that lunar travel can be made 1,000 times easier for either staying on the moon and doing longer missions, or having the ability to return from the moon, and not have to bring as much with you, because they can turn the water there into fuel. They can turn it into oxygen, since there's oxygen in the actual molecules itself. They can use it for power generation, conducting experiments, anything, excuse me, horticulturally, involved that needs and requires water for growth. So, I mean, there's all sorts of things that they can do now because of this discovery.
So in the future, like me and Dave were always talking about, like, oh, probably, people won't be on missions to places. It'll be robots. And, that's probably true in some ways. But, I was thinking one way that they could get us to, I wonder if this would work. I don't know if it would, but if you could get your lungs to breathe in and breathe out, you breathe out the carbon monoxide, you breathe in the oxygen. But what if you could, what if your lungs could turn the oxide back into oxygen, and it just like one?
Yeah. What if they create something that allows you to breathe that in, and yeah, that would be.
And you could have, like, 3 weeks of oxygen because of this thing that's put in your lungs, or your lung, or whatever. If you had a small oxygen canister hooked up to your body, or hooked up to your lungs, or whatever, that would be enough for like 3 weeks to 6 months or something, because your body would keep recycling it or whatever, and there'd be a way. So when they start inventing stuff like that, that's when, humans are going to be like able to do all these crazy things. But yeah, most likely we'll do robots still. Like we'll do, we'll control robots or remote control things to go to planets. We'll create these AI robots that will be able to navigate the ship, pilot the ship, be able to do all the things we need them to. They'll be hooked up to the computer of the ship, and that's it. Like they'll be the ones landing on fucking Mars. I mean, and getting in.
They'll think about it too. On top of just having, the robot access to, you eventually can populate the moon just from having water there. Water on the surface is so extremely important, so critical. Because, like I said before, not just for sustaining and creating life, but for the lack of need to bring things to the moon. Essentially, if you bring some type of ability to mine and filter, you don't have to bring tons of water with you to do so. And if you don't have to worry about carrying all this extra fuel to make it back home from the moon to Earth. That was one of their original issues. How do we get back? And, the Apollo missions, we have to use the gravity and trajectory. Well, now they can actually create fuel on the moon, and then they can, as you said, with robots and stuff, as it advances, that could be mined and produced over and over. So now you land on the moon, and now it's easier to get to Mars, possibly because you refuel there. And, what are the other possibilities? But it just opens up a whole new world, really.
Listen to these full episodes and full episodes of Final Frontier News on patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. Support Final Frontier News by liking, sharing, subscribing, coming back all the time, and letting us know that you love the shows. And most of all, by joining Patreon and letting us know that's the reason for Final Frontier News, why you join Patreon.